Saturday morning. Welcome back to Martin's Aquatics. Here we are in front of the Reef tank, and I've got a few jobs to do today in relation to the Reef tank. So I've got my water tests all lined up here to do, and I've got all these items in here. Now these are replacement filters for my reverse osmosis deionizing water filter that allows me to make purified water to mix my salt water up and use it in a tank with sensitive creatures like marine fish and marine corals in. So what we're going to do first is a few water changes, water tests, and then we're going to put all these filters in the RODI filter. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on with the water tests, and then I will probably put a still up of this week's water test, last week's water tests, and then a still up of this week's water tests, so we can see how, if any changes have happened during the last 7 days, because I test every Saturday morning. Right, back with you in a bit. Well, welcome back. I don't know if you had time to digest those figures, but basically a couple of minor changes. The alkalinity was slightly down and has gone into the red, so I need to add some alkalinity buffer to adjust that, whereas my magnesium and calcium are both at sort of on the high side, but they're not too high that it's a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to dose any Reef supplement, which I dose every day, for a couple of days, just to let the calcium and magnesium drop a bit, and that should even those figures out. Otherwise everything else was good. The salinity was spot on, the temperature is spot on, the pH is spot on. Nitrates 25, a tad high, but you know, it's not horrendous, and phosphate is perfect. The only issue I've got with this tank at the moment is a lot of green hair algae, but it is a fairly new tank setup, and I don't have a lot of cleanup crew, so my plan is, as soon as my local fish shop gets them in, is to add 15 trochus snails. I wiped them out of stock last weekend. I took 6 and 2 urchins, which have made a start on the algae, but I think I need about 15 more. I need about 20 snails in a tank this size, so I'm going to go and get them as soon as they let me know they've got them in stock. Apart from that, everything's going smoothly on this tank, and we'll go outside now and have a look at the reverse osmosis filter. Well, welcome back outside, and see, I've got everything laid out ready. So this is a reverse osmosis deionizing filter. So it basically takes out everything in the water that isn't just pure H2O. So your chlorines, your fluorides, any metals, silicates, phosphate, nitrate, ammonia, anything like that that might be in your tap water, this will filter it out. Now, every so often you need to change all the filters, because with a lot of use it gets, they gradually become less efficient. So the filters I've got are, these are what are called the pre-filters. So these pre-filter the water. There's a mechanical filter and 2 carbon filters for taking out the chlorine, and then the water goes through this filter, which is the reverse osmosis membrane, and that takes everything else out. And then finally there's this stuff, which is the deionizing resin, and that will remove anything that manages to squeeze through this. So that's like the last backup, and that should give me a TDS of 0. TDS stands for total dissolved solids, and I've got a little TDS meter somewhere, I'll need to find it, that I can measure how many dissolved solids are in my water. I want 0. So hopefully these filters will bring me back down to 0. I haven't tested what it's at, it's just that I've been running this one for about a year, and it really is about the time then you should be changing it. So quick look over there, there's the pond. I'm going to be doing the Nexus in a minute. I'm going to kind of multitask, so to speak. Got myself a cup of coffee in my Coral Centre mug, and without further ado I'll crack on with it and get back to you when I'm done. Right, I've changed the DI resin. I've changed the DI resin, I've changed the RO membrane. I've just took the canister off but had the sediment filter in. So that's the one coming out compared to a clean new one. So look at all that. All that's in your tap water, whatever it is. All right, excuse the mess of the garden, but this is where I have to use the RO device because it goes, I fill this drum up, 220 litre drum up with RO water. So as you can see, the RO water doesn't come out very fast unless you've got a more expensive electric pumped version, but as mine has to go outside, and it's actually raining at the minute, so I can't really use one of them. Right, what I have to do now I've changed the filters is just run it to waste for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to put that pipe in the drain in a second, and then we'll take a sample of the water and see where we are. Right, this is my TDS meter. The water on the left is the purified water. I want the reading of 0. Water on the right is the wastewater. So we put that in. Sorry about my shakes. See that? It's 0. Put it in the wastewater, and it goes up to 386. So that means there's 386 parts per million of dissolved solids in that wastewater. Oh, the focus has gone all weird. And 0 parts per million in the good water, which is what I want. Now, I'm currently draining the blue barrel because I tested my water in there and I had let the ball slip, and it was down to 13 parts per million. So why the hell has the focus gone? Anyway, at the end of the day, 0 is what I want. 0 is what I need for my reef tank. So I'm going to refill the barrel overnight with 0 water. And I'll catch you in the next one.